What's Welcome. This is part 5 of our Faith run through the Shadow of the Erdtree DLC. Last time we went through the Ancient Ruins base, the Templetown Ruins, the Scorpion River Catacombs, through the Fort of Reprimand, and Talu's Ruined Forge. In terms of items, we got ourselves Heal from Afar, the map for Rao Ruins, the two-handed sword talisman, the divine bird warrior Ornus, the gloried set, the aurora regalia, knight's lightning spear, death knight's long aft axe, the cerulean amber medallion plus 3, the flame drake talisman plus 3, an iris of occultation, a America's rune, mesmer soldier ashes, ash of war, aspects of the crucible wings, the Pearl Shield Talisman, the Smith Script Axe, Smith Script Great Hammer, Smith Script Shield, Talu the Golem Smith, and 2 Ancient Dragon Smithing Stones. And here, quickly, there is a letter.
We are all utterly captivated by kindly Miquella. It is what binds us together. Oh, that man is known as Dane. He's been in the service of Miquella the Kind longer than I. He might be solemn of cheer, but is a fierce warrior nevertheless. There's no cause for concern. Dane's reluctance to speak to you is no fault of your own. We've been acquainted for quite some time, but even I am yet to hear his voice. Perhaps one day.
Just wanted to share that dialogue because we will soon be locked out of it, as we are going to break the spell that captivates all of them. We're going to be doing that here at the Moorth Ruins, where we can head this way. And before we do that, we're actually going to grab some upgrade materials. First of which is this guy, getting us a Skittle Tree Fragment. And then next up is over here. Now, both of these are protected by one of these enemies. Yeah, those guys. They're a wee bit scary, as they're fast and agile. A bit powerful. But here, if you just, from the Grace, if you go through that archway and then take a left, up to here, you can drop down. And then you can start making your way downtown. Past all the enemies, they're gonna bark and whatnot. But you can ignore them. What are they gonna do? Chase you? That's not real. Now here we can get golden arcs, which is what those enemies use. It's just like 3 little golden arcs, rather self-explanatory. And you just throw them at an enemy. They do a bit of holy damage. Not right now, but I am at some point in this run going to show off all the incantations. Just test them out a little. Show what they look like. Show their damage. Not right now, though. Right now, we got bigger things to do. See, we're gonna whistle. We're gonna call our horse. Off to the right is a jail, which are kind of like caves here in the DLC. We're going to drop down into here. And all the way on the left side here is a revered spear dash. And we're gonna ignore the dogs, because what are they gonna do? Chase us? That's not real. In order for things to chase you, they need to have legs. And as we all know, dogs don't have legs. You can quote me on that. Because they simply don't. Now, you might have a dog. And they might have legs. But if they do, I'm telling you right now, that's not a dog. If your quote-unquote dog has legs, it's not a dog. Real dogs roll to get around. But anyways, there we got the gesture, oh mother, which is... You need to get that for a certain area. Later on. Anyways, over here there's a shack, which holds a whip. The whip does poison buildup, and the unique skill temporarily reduces the rate at which stamina recovers. So, possibly a good offhand weapon for PvP. Partially for the skill, partially because some people like to parry, and whips can't be parried. But here it says, somewhere a great rune has broken, and so too has a powerful charm. Shush. I'm gonna show you something throughout this run that's gonna help you. Not right now, but later on. But first we gotta go up here. Now, for those enemies, you normally smack their ankles until they fall down. But that one has reinforcements on its ankles, so you need to take the spirit spring jump up. And then you need to use a certain item. The hefty furnace pot. And you need to throw it into their head in order to explode them to do damage. Very difficult, not worth it. There's also a little jar pot thing that has a bell bearing on the side of the cliff by some wolves. But this is the faith run, and we have to have faith that we can do well without it. And I have to have faith that you'll be able to find it if you want to, without me showing where it is. Anyway, that Forger Brood allows you to craft well-pickled turtlenecks, which temporarily grant a large boost to stamina recovery speed. Which is very nice. The only bad thing about it is that it requires scorpion livers, which you can't buy, and they're not easy to get. It requires some farming. But outside of that one thing, very good. Now here, we can rest. We can upgrade that. We can Click on that. And we can go talk to all the different NPCs. Because there's like 5 of them that are all under the charm of kindly Miquella. More than that, actually, because there's more. There's Ansbach, there's Freya, there's Talia, there's the Needle Knight Letta, and there's Hornsent. So, 2, 3, 4, 6. Miquella's building himself a small army. But first, we've got Ansbach.
Kindly Miquella has discarded his great rune. The fog that vexed my aging faculties has been lifted, and follies better left forgotten haunt me once again. Once, in an attempt to free Lord Moog from his enchantment, I challenged tender Miquella, only to have my own heart rather artfully stolen. I knew not how weak I was. I believed that with sufficient mastery, even an Empyrean would be within reach of my blade. I could not have been more mistaken. Miquella the Kind is a monster, pure and radiant. He wields love to shrive clean the hearts of men. There is nothing more terrifying.
Spiders.
Righteous tarnished. Miquella the Kind makes my blood run cold. I am loath to admit it, but even at this very instant I wish to run very far away indeed. Righteous tarnished,
I don't feel it. It's broken. Kind Miquella's light is gone, but I stand tall. Together, we work. Together, for Miquella the Kind. I don't know what to do. Our mother abandoned her brood. She did not love us. We are her children. What should we do? Must we be sad forever?
So if you say put it behind you, spoilers, but later on in the run he'll turn against you and you'll have to kill him. And so while it might seem like the positive thing now, it's not going to feel so positive when you have to kill him. Whereas if you say remain sad forever, that might immediately feel like the bad option, but he instantly dies, and you don't have to kill him. And so, just, like, both from a pragmatic, practical point of view, and from a how do you choose the least amount of suffering option, from both of those perspectives, remain sad forever is what I go with. From, like, I don't know if, I don't think moral would be the way to put it, but from, like, a worldview standpoint, I would say put it behind you. But from a practical standpoint and from a just lessening sadness in this specific story, I'm going with remain sad forever.
Sad forever. Sad forever and ever.
And from there,
Goodbye.
when you reload the area, not just sitting at a site of grace. Sitting at a site of grace by itself doesn't work. You need to, like, full-on loading screen. But he'll be gone. And we'll get to where he is after we get done with the talking to NPCs. For now, Next up on the lineup is Redmane Freya.
Oh, there you are. Good. If you happen to see Lady Leda, tell her that I'm striking out on my own. Don't worry, I've no mind to cross any of you. The guidance of kind Miquella remains etched into my very flesh. It's only... there's something that I must know. Kindly Miquella spoke of the vow he once made with General Radahn, and it is here the vow shall be honored. I am a Redmane. I must know the nature of the vow. I'll be out on my own for some time. There's something I must know.
Now, saying what if you become our enemy doesn't change anything practically. It does give you more dialogue, which is good. More dialogue is almost always a good thing. But this is the Faith run. And I have faith that she will either not become our enemy, or even if she does, things will work out. Because it'll be God's plan. And we, as a Faith run, we have to spend the rest of this run believing in God's plan. And whatever that psychopath over there that's going on for us in the world. Anyways, Talia.
Oh, are you not affected? Even with the spell broken, I'm feeling rather lost. Haunted by memories of St. Trina. Her visage, her scent, the lure of velvety sleep. Would kindly Miquella chasten me for falling for St. Trina, while knowing that she was the discarded half? The problem is, I simply cannot help it. I would sacrifice everything just to gaze upon her one last time.
So, something false idols. We're not running with him. Not this time. And I know that it'll mean less content for this run. But I think for the sake of faith, I'm not even going to do the Stone Coffin Fisher, because that's an int area, and it's all about St. Trina. And St. Trina, as cool as St. Trina is visually, and as interesting as her lore is, she's the discarded half. She is int, not faith. She might be faith. She might be faith, but still, she's the discarded half. False idol. We're a man of God. In this run. In no other run, but in this run, we have to commit. And that means locking ourselves out of some content. Oh, that means locking ourselves out of some upgrade materials for our character. Commit. We have to have faith in God. Whatever sick plan they've got cooking up. We have to have faith. Anyways, Letta.
Oh, hello. Did you feel it? Miquella the Kind's enchantment appears to have broken. But while my devotion to kindly Miquella remains unchanged, by my troth I am not so sure about the others. No, wait. Perhaps this is a blessing in disguise. I can wield my sword to cull the undeserving, those unfit to bask in tender Miquella's presence. I should have thought of this earlier. Right. It's time to begin ferreting out those of us who don't deserve to be at kindly Miquella's side. Tiolier. It's true. His devotion to St. Trina is plain to see. I fear his vows to Miquella the Kind are merely secondary. But for this very reason, Tiolier is incapable of betrayal. St. Trina's love for kind Miquella is boundless. She is, after all, his other half. Or perhaps her feelings go beyond even that. Even if she was left behind, I doubt her heart would waver. Right. It's time to begin ferreting out those of us who don't deserve to be at kindly Miquella's side. The Horn Scent. On one hand, he trusts Miquella the Kind to bring salvation to his people. With the enchantment lifted, his vengeful passions may once again ignite. But surely he'd be mindful of kindly Miquella's promise. On the other hand, the Horn Scent does present his own dangers. Perhaps your concerns are well-founded after all. Allow me some time to mull it over.
So the horn scent over here is consumed by a passion, by a rage, by vengeance. And that's not very godlike of him. That is not the holy way. He has strayed from the path of righteousness. But as a man of faith, it is our duty to give him a second chance, to show that he is willing to overcome his own nature, to become a better person. Let's see if he's willing to do that.
Intriguing. What remains there to be said? Do you presume us allies even now? Though Miquella's spell is newly broken, I must profess, the spell mattered little. Uphold his covenant, Miquella shall, and in godhood redeem our rueful clan. Then Marika and vilest Erdtree both will at last be from divinity wrenched. And surely, contented I will be. But first, clear resounds the call of vengeance. The Impaler, Mesmer, must pay his due. In vengeance for the flames, my blade I wield. How could I allow myself to forget? Revenge alone assures me peace of mind.
Well, that's not very godlike, I must say. So, we're gonna have to keep an eye on him. We're gonna have to faith our way through his vengeance, through his anger.
Allow me some time.
This might need a full reset of the area as well. Instead of just sitting in a site of grace, a full-on loading screen.
Allow me some...
Think not to hinder me upon my path, lest you too wish to face the reckoning. Think not to hinder me upon my path, lest you too wish to face the reckoning.
It might have been that. We might have just been missing that one piece of dialogue. Yep, and now he's gone. Which means she gets new dialogue.
Ah, there you are. It took me long enough, I know. But I've made my decision. I believe it wisest to eliminate the Horn Scent. If he were to point his blade at Sir Mesmer or Queen Marika, perhaps it would not matter. But vengeance changes a man. And one day, his blade may turn towards Miquella the Kind. Kindly Miquella is, after all, the true golden child. Even if he discards every last drop of his being, his lineage will always remain. I believe the Horn Scent suspects what I have in mind. He never placed his full trust in me, even under the effect of kindly Miquella's spell. He must have recognized something. The scent of the killer that slept within me. The stench of crusted blood. I will follow the horn scent. To have his revenge on Sir Mesmer, there is only one place he will go. The Black Keep.
Okay. Now, from here you want to go up north of the Church of the Crusade. But I'm not going to give details just yet. But there are 3 different ways that his, like the horn scent, there are 3 different ways that his quest can end. And I believe I've showed 2 of the 3 different ways in recorded runs. I know I've gotten all 3 before, but I believe I've shown 2. And so I'm going to do the 3rd one this time, but I'll give advice because I think there's a different way that's better from a practical viewpoint. And so I'll explain how to do the practical one, but I'll do the non-practical one because I haven't shown it off before. Anyways, here you have Moor's Bell Bearing, the Verdigris Great Shield, and the Verdigris Armor Set. And here you have Moor curled up with one of the Forager Brood. And so that eliminates him from a fight later on, which will make things... I bit my tongue. But that eliminates him from the fight later on, and that makes things easier. But all of this talk about vengeance and turning on your allies and killing your comrades, it has a way of poisoning the heart. So I think it's time to go to church. And over here, you can jump onto that. Jump on... We have a mouse. You can jump onto this, go here, go up, and then go around to the left. And that'll give you a great Glowwort to get a Spirit Ash to +10. Whether it's a grave or a ghost, I don't remember. But it's a great one for the highest level of reinforcement. And we're going to slam this into the ground. Because here we have one of these guys. And the Fire Knights are a threat. Nope. Ulcerated Tree Spirit. One of my favorite minor bosses. Elden Ring has a lot of bosses, like 150 something. So I break them up into 2 categories of minor bosses and major bosses. Major bosses being like Mesmer, Radon, Godric, Morgott, Ralana, or Ranala, and minor bosses being like things you find in caves, Erdtree avatars, enemies that you'd find in Everjails. People like that.
Queen Marika, Mother to us all, favor me with thy grace. I have met many who would threaten or distress thee, and quelled each and all, and I hereby swear to never cease. So please, grant me thy grace. Leave me with my solitary light. Queen Marika, I implore thee, bestow thy grace. Take not from me my solitary light.
Now, I said that I would use the Iris of Grace, but this guy... Don't get me wrong, if I had an Iris of Grace, I would use it. But because I don't, and I really don't care to put in the extra work to go get one and then come back, I'm going to use the Iris of Occultation. Mostly because I don't have an Iris of Grace, and partially because he's him. So.
I would not. Am I not pure? Defile thee I would never. I ask, why wouldst thou think to purloin from me? Deignest thou not to look upon me? All this time, I held in my heart only thee.
And with that, you get his weapon. If you used an Iris of Grace, you would get his Spirit Ash. But his weapon... Oh, it doesn't... I thought that it boosted, like, Fire Knight skills. Apparently it does not. So I was wrong about that. That's good damage. That is good damage. And remember, this scales off strength, dex, and faith. And my strength is 28, my dex is 25. And this is New Game Plus, so they have a lot more health. So, this is good. Especially good because those enemies don't really move a whole lot. They just kind of walk back and forth, staring at you. I was going to use Knight's Lightning Spear, but I figured I used that against the boss in Fort of Reprimand, and it really got to shine there. And I know those enemies don't move much, and the main drawback to Horn Calling is that it's not very good against enemies that move a lot. So if we can find an enemy that doesn't move a lot, the Horn Calling will probably be pretty good. And it was. Now, I suggest going and getting Storehouse back section, just because it leads to the loft, and then to Gaius, and then to up here, where there are 5 Scadutree fragments, which is very useful. And it also lets you go into Shadowkeep early on, which is a good thing. Just gives you more options. Now, there you can make that jump, but that jump is risky. because if you miss, it is instant death. And there's a way to make it much safer. Well, would you look at that one shot? Would you look at that one shot? That's beautiful. You'll love to see it. Even better that those are bats, creatures that are flying, and horn-calling shoots horns out of the ground. But it's still so useful against them. You'll love to see it. And this cutscene used to have a glitch where if you teleported to the storehouse first floor, it would automatically play this cutscene. Don't know how that glitch worked, but I ran into it, and it was so funny. Because on the character that it happened on, I hadn't even been to the church district. So I hadn't even done this cutscene normally, which really threw me off. On top of just teleporting to a site of grace and instantly getting a cutscene that's pretty decently far away from the grace. I mean, they're very close on the map, but in terms of, like, how far you have to run to get from one place to the other, they're far away. And, and we're going to skip this grace because, mind you, the Shadow Keep is like 3 different areas. It's the main Shadow Keep, also called the Storehouse. It's the church district, and the back section / loft. And so it's 3 different geographic locations, all in one location. And so if you can avoid grabbing a site of grace, it's good to do that. This elevator brings you right back to the church district entrance, and so that's good to get. Now, right up here and to the right. Yep. They get you. Oh. I don't think the developers intended for that. But I don't hold stuff like this against developers. Partially because it doesn't negatively affect the gameplay. Like, if a bug or glitch negatively affects the gameplay, I do hold it against the developers, but stuff like that, where it's purely visual and not really disruptive, I don't mind. Like, I mean, objectively, it's less polished, but I don't really see it as a problem because it doesn't negatively, in fact, impact the gameplay. And also, I just think it's funny. And so, there's also that. And so I kind of like it, actually. Even though it's objectively bad, I kind of like it. But anyways, the one that was teleporting in and out of existence, they drop an Iris of Occultation. Ow. go. But because I'm not using an Iris of Occultation, I'm not going to kill them. This one, however, I am killing this one. Partially because these enemies are just fun to fight. But partially because they drop the Mantle of Thorns, which is a sorcery, not an incantation, but it requires faith, not intelligence. Now here, there's an enemy there. That enemy... bleh. Don't fight him, it's not worth it. But you can take this. And if you take a right, that brings you to the elevator with the back section. And here's the jump that I said was risky. But not once you drain the water. And so that's an easy way to get a Scadutree fragment. And then running up here, you get Battlefield Priest Cookbook 1, which allows you to craft golden grease, which is like holy grease, the one that inflicts holy damage, but stronger. So it's like how you have fire grease, and then mesmer fire grease, magic grease, and then royal magic grease. Kind of like that. But holy damage. So if you want more holy damage, there you go. And yeah, there's this site of grace. But, like I said, in the interest of not cluttering the map with a ton of grace sites, we're going to skip it, because over here, on top of an Iris of Grace, on top of the second Marika's rune, there's also a Grace site. Now, out there's a flower that is the Scadutree avatar, which is a boss. But I'm actually not going to fight them. But instead, I'm going to go off to the back section. The reason I'm not going to fight them, mostly because I don't want to. Just being completely real. They're usually a fun boss, but they're just not really my kind of boss. So, because of that, I mean, if you want a different explanation, they're an avatar. I mean, Fire Serpent incantation. But it's the Scadutree avatar. It is the will of the Scadutree. And as the Faith run, I have to have faith that the Scadutree avatar knows what it's doing. And will do what needs to be done to protect the tree that brings grace upon the people. Or whatever I have to say to justify it. But anyways, Here we have... Ooh. I was gonna say, is this going to be a one-shot? I mean, I hope so, but I kind of doubt it. But it pulled through. No, I would go over there, drop down onto that, and then go into there. Because it's faster. That enemy's not... I thought that enemy was up here. Alright, so either that enemy was up here and it fell down somehow, or I'm just mistaken about where that enemy normally is. Either way, we can move on. And here we can get Wrath from afar. And I can let you know that Frenzied Burst is very good. Like, see that enemy? Yeah, no you don't. That enemy's not real. They don't exist. They're fake. Oh. You're not gonna mention a word about how I decided to just tank like 3 fireballs. Alright, you're not gonna mention that. And I'm not gonna mention the amount of times that you eaten Taco Bell in the last week. Because we both know. We both know. But if you don't say anything, I'm not gonna say anything. And I feel like that's a fair deal. I feel like we can both agree upon that. It's all building through the fog. But I don't know what building that would be offhand. Unless it's like this. Like this wall. Yeah, it could be. It certainly could be. We're gonna run over here. We're going to grab this Skidoo tree fragment. That puts us at 3, which is good. The highest amount of Skidoo tree fragments you need for an upgrade is 3. You never need more than 3. For Revered Spirit Ash Blessings, it's 5. Yeah. Oh. We have the magic one, right? I never grabbed the magic one. Oh my. So we should probably go do that now. Considering this boss does a lot of magic damage. And while this is the faith run, and I certainly do have faith, I don't have that much faith. Dead bird. And in here, the Spelldrake Talisman +3. We can take off the Shard of Alexander, because we're probably not going to be using skills against that boss. Alright, but we've got 10 minutes to beat this boss and do our entire end of part spiel. So we're just gonna do that. I'm gonna hop on the horse. Ow. Oh. I'm very surprised neither of those hit me. Alright, hold on. I can't watch this back because I'm in the middle of recording it, but what happened? What happened? Like, unless I'm crazy and have some kind of memory issues, I'm not entirely sure what happened, because what I think happened is I summoned Divine Bird Warrior Ornus, and then Divine Bird Warrior Ornus despawned, question mark? I'm not too entirely sure. I rolled too late. That somehow went directly over him. And I rolled too early, apparently. And that went right to the side of him. Uh-oh. So this boss does not like me right now, apparently. Alright, he normally does like a big jump slam thing. He didn't do that for some reason. I'm not entirely sure why. Oh, there it is. Not entirely sure on why he didn't do that before. Sir, please. Jesus. This man does not like me right now. Yeah, it's like, I dodged the first few, but Ornus despawned. But then after that, I was just, like, completely incapable of dodging them. I dodged that too early, apparently. Abadi abadoo. Why is he doing this? Why is he so insistent on these running attacks? It's not nice. The running attack is weird. Because it's like... It's either I feel like I dodged too early or too late, but I somehow correctly dodge it, or I feel like I correctly dodge it, but then I get hit. it's almost never... I mean, sometimes I'm like, yeah, I mistime the dodge, and I get hit. But I've never had a single time where I've dodged when, yeah, I dodged correctly, and didn't get hit. Every time I dodge, I feel like I mistimed the dodge. Every time, without fail. And the timing is just so weird. I don't understand it. But we survived. Barely, but we survived. And here we can use Oh Mother here, right next to the back gate grace. And it opens this up. And we're not going to go through this area, because we're at 56 minutes, and I like to keep things just under an hour. So we're not going to go through this area, but we are going to grab the Site of Grace. And we can catch one of these in, and one more, and we'll get another upgrade. And for levels, I'm going pure into strength. Because faith, strength... For some reason, I'm not entirely sure why, but dexterity and intelligence go together, and then faith and strength go together. I don't make the rules, that's just how it is. Again, that's part of why I was using the Golem's Heavy Halberd earlier, like before going into the DLC. And then when going into the DLC, or like just before I started recording, I went, well, I'm gonna respec and move away from strength and put like half of those levels into dex. Just in case I want to use a dex weapon. And here we are with the Horned Warrior Sword. But I'm still going into strength. Because who's gonna stop me? The answer is probably Radon. But we'll get to him when we get to him. Anyways, I think we can end it here. In this part, we went through Bonny Village, the Shadowkeep Church District, the Storehouse back section, the Storehouse Loft. We took out Gaius. We got access to the hinterland. And we talked to a bunch of NPCs. Though we talked to the NPCs at the beginning. In terms of items, we've gotten the Golden Arcs Incantation, a hefty cracked pot, the Tooth Whip, the ability to craft well-pickled turtlenecks, Moore's Bell-bearing shield and armor set, Coaline's Greatsword, a Great Grave Glowwort, the Mantle of Thorn sorcery, the ability to craft Golden Grease, an Iris of Grace, a Medica rune, the Fire Serpent Incantation, which I may throw on just to use a little bit, Wrath from Afar Incantation, the Spelldrake Talisman +3, though you get that way earlier on in the DLC, Remembrance of the Wild Boar Rider, and several Skadoo Tree fragments. And with that being said, yeah.